This woman decided to share her dating nightmare, and surprise, this person has already appeared on my channel before. Let's get into it.
TikTok.
I'm so embarrassed and also repost.
A TikTok influencer spent the weekend with me, and I had to kick him out of my apartment last night because he made a content video about me while he was still staying with me. And that was just my final straw. I honestly had the most uncomfortable and weird experience with this guy from start to finish. Been messaging on TikTok, Instagram, FaceTiming for a couple of months, and I truly wasn't feeling the vibe, but we just so happened to both be in New York City at the same time. So I was like, since we're both here, I might as well meet up with you and get a drink. Met up, I was actually really surprised that we hit it off. I had a really good time with him. We spent like 7 or 8 hours together in the city, and we really enjoyed each other's company. At the end of the night, we were like, when are we going to see each other again? And he was like, next weekend you can come visit me, then the following weekend I'll go visit you, and then the third weekend you can go to a festival with me. All of my friends are going, and I would love if you joined us. Like, yeah, that sounds like a great plan. I would love to do that. I go back home and I'm thinking that I'm going to go to his city to visit him, and I would normally get a hotel room when I'm visiting someone, but instead he starts planning his trip to come visit me in my city and is talking about staying with me in my apartment. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, but I pushed back a couple of times because I was like, I would rather go visit you. That's what we had originally talked about, but he was pretty adamant about coming to stay with me in my city. Plan was,
if you weren't comfortable with him staying with you, then you should have told him that and was like, hey, no, I don't feel comfortable with you staying in my house. I need you to get you a hotel. Your safety is the utmost important, and he shouldn't be coming to your house at all. He does not need to know where you stay immediately. Y'all was talking for a bit, then y'all finally linked up. You gotta be safe.
That he was going to stay with me from Friday to Monday. But as we're getting closer to Friday, the night before, I was getting anxious. I was like, I've never had a man come stay with me in my apartment. I don't really feel so comfortable about this. So I texted him and I was like, maybe you should get a hotel. That's important to note is that one of his most viral videos on TikTok is a story time about how he met a girl on TikTok, flew out to see her. She ended up being a con artist, and she lied about all of these things, lied about having cancer and got a GoFundMe, all of these things. So he was like, that's really weird that you just asked me to get a hotel, because that's exactly what happened with the last girl that I flew out to see. So I feel uncomfortable now. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that TikTok. It wasn't even on my radar, but I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable or unwelcome. So I ended up giving in and letting him come stay with me in my place. Before he came, he was already mentioning money all the time. He was talking about how there was only Frontier or Spirit flights available and how the United flight was $600 one way. He was talking about the price of a table and a dinner, and he was complaining about money, and it just made me uncomfortable because why are you telling me about these things? Like, if you can't afford something, don't do it. Anyways,
Indeed. And you should have canceled it right there and been like, hey, maybe it's not the time. And also, why are you letting that man stay with you? Ma'am, it is unsafe. You do not know him. He could be a whole serial unaliver. If he ain't got the money for the flight, the hotel, and a rental car, he don't need to be coming to see you. He need to be focusing on his job or stacking up his money so maybe he could come see you next month.
Flying Frontier, and I go and pick him up from the airport. Before I picked him up, I did a background check on him, and he told me he was a luxury real estate agent. He's only ever sold 9 houses on record, and the last house that he sold was in January of 2025. Anyways, I pick him up from the airport on Friday. I was exhausted from the work week, so I ended up going to sleep by like 9 p.m. He said I was snoring within 5 minutes. Saturday, our plans were to go to dinner and go out with some of my girlfriends. At the end of the dinner, the check comes and he puts his card down and it gets declined. It only got partially approved. The total was $225. The dinner got approved for $160 on his card, and he had to use another card. But just something to note. Out with my friends, we have a decent time. At the end of the night, a handful of people came over to my apartment to continue drinking and hanging out, and I was tired. It was like 3 a.m. and I wanted to go to bed and Irish exit my own apartment. So he came in there and he asked me, can I sleep naked? And I was like, no, that's weird, that's gross, I don't want you to sleep naked in my bed. So he went to go get his pajamas. He comes back.
The fact that you even let this man in your house is still beyond me. And then on top of that, y'all up in there drinking. Do y'all not value y'all lives? He was trying to come up in there in his birthday suit because he planned on getting some. You should rather be safe than sorry. I would say the same thing for men. Like, you shouldn't be comfortable with a random woman that you barely know coming up into your house, because you don't know what she may have planned for you. And you sit up there and you get drunk and then something happens to you. Safety first.
And my girlfriend comes with him, and I'm in the middle of the bed. My girlfriend is on the right of the bed, and then he's on this side of me. And I realized he gets in the bed naked. And I was like, what the f? Get dressed. I told you I don't want you sleeping naked in my bed, and now my friend is in the bed with us. Anyways, we order McDonald's.
Oh, he's trying to have himself a menage a trois. See, he did that because he's trying, y'all. I'm not going to put this on him, but if you are really under the influence, luckily you not, because you saw what was going on. Some men will take advantage of that. you and your friend. He shouldn't have been laying in the bed with you at all. He should have been laying on the couch because it was you and your best friend in the bed. Some of y'all do not have boundaries or survival skills.
It's like 4 a.m. at this point. We're eating the McDonald's and I look over and he has a hot buffalo sauce and he dips his finger in the sauce and licks it. And I was like, ew, that's disgusting. Night he was like, I really want to make out with you. And I was like, ugh. That was literally my reaction. And I was like, I don't like to make out with people, you know, I don't like tongues, they gross me out, I'm really not a big maker outer. And he was like, that's really weird, like I've never had that problem in relationships before. And I was like, but I didn't want to make out with you, dude. There was no physical compatibility, I wasn't feeling the vibes, so I didn't want to kiss him.
But you still had him up in your house. Your first inclination was, I don't like this guy, I'm not feeling his vibe. Then you changed it, but the reality is you still didn't like him like that. It bothered you that he was a brokey.
Around and we didn't do anything. I ended up sleeping on the couch for like 4 hours while he watched football, and he asks me, can I end up leaving Tuesday instead of Monday? And in my head I was like, why would you want to stay? We're not hitting it off, this isn't what we thought it would be. But I was like, sure. So on Monday I work all day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. He's in my guest room like making little content videos or whatever the At the end of the day, Monday, I'm already fed up with this because I'm like, you're overstaying your welcome. You were supposed to leave today, but I was like, get through the night. He's going to leave in the morning, whatever. It's almost over.
First and foremost, he wasn't woke because you didn't want him there in the first place. And then you had these negative experiences with him. You should have stood on business and you should have told him, hey, I need you to get a hotel. End of story. He could have got mad all he wanted. You shouldn't allow somebody to make you uncomfortable in your home. The way you're describing him, he's a creep. If you had a guest room before then, why wasn't he in there when you and your friend got drunk? Was the guest room occupied? Was the couch occupied? Those are some serious questions that you need to let the world know, because the math is not mathing. If 1 + 1 is 2 and 2 + 2 is 4, what the heck is this?
Sitting on the couch and we're both on our phones and a video pops up from his feed and he's talking and he's like, what's the weirdest thing you've ever had happen to you when you're dating someone? I once dated a girl who hates kissing. She thought that making out was disgusting. And he starts going on a rant. And I'm like, I literally verbatim just said this to you this weekend. And I was like, is this video about me? And he was like, no, I got the idea from ChatGPT. And I was like, so now you're not only going to make a video about me in my own house, you're also going to lie to me and say that it wasn't about me. He's denying that it was even about me. At the end of the video, he like fabricates an ending. 70% of the video was about how I don't like making out. And then the ending, he like made up some TikTok story time to like make content, I guess. At this point, I'm so fed up with this guy. I'm not having a good time. And I was just like, this is so disrespectful. You're going to make a video about me under the roof of my own home when you're a guest staying with me. And so I was like, you need to leave. I was like, you have a flight the next morning. You need to get a hotel and leave tomorrow. He's 37 years old, by the way. And he was like, you have anger problems. And I was like, no, you have a respect issue. Anyways, he leaves and he immediately blocks me on TikTok and on Instagram. After he gets his stuff and leaves, I end up having 2 of my friends come over and stay with me because I didn't know where he was going. I didn't know if he was going to come back and knock on the door. I was just super uncomfortable, like, get out of my house. And the reason I didn't want to post this video was for 2 reasons. Is one, because I obviously made mistakes. I shouldn't have let him come stay with me. I shouldn't have met up with someone who's a content creator in the first place. But the second reason is because he's clearly a liar. I've seen him lie to my face multiple times, like all these different white lies. And I also see him lie on the internet all the time. So I don't know what the is going to say about me on the internet, but I also don't care because this is what happened and it was one of the weirdest experiences ever. So if we learn anything from this, it's that you can't trust everything you hear on the internet and you probably shouldn't meet up with people on the internet. And if someone is feeling and acting weird and talking about weird things, they're weird and you shouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt. And that's the lesson I learned. Would never do it again.
Like... I'm glad you came to that conclusion and did nothing happen to you. I am so proud of you, man, because things could have went left. Also, change your locks. It's too many crazy people out there. You meeting another content creator offline isn't the problem. That's just his job. Your mistake is you moved too fast with a random that you did not know. I don't care if he was a police officer, a lawyer, a doctor. It does not matter. You need to feel people out first before you start allowing them into your personal space. It was multiple red flags there. The money thing was a huge red flag that you should have took into account. The plans of him not wanting to get his own hotel is a red flag, because a man or a woman that's traveling, unless they're family or your friends that you've established a relationship with, that you know how they give it up and you know they're a truthful and trustworthy person, for sure, they can stay with you. But you just meeting somebody and just opening up your home is dangerous. And it seems to me like you're a single woman and you live by yourself. So be safe. He responded, dating story time, her desperate attempt for attention. I did a video on him about the first story she described. His name is Jordan Davis.
Probably the last person she should have lied about on the internet, because if you've ever seen me before, you know I'm petty and I come with receipts. So since she wants to use my name, I will use her name, and I'm going to show the texts. I have all the receipts. So let's start with the quick overall. We met in New York City, that is correct, on my last night or something. We had a good time. And I went home the next day, which is in California. We discussed wanting to meet again, but particularly this month, I had a super busy schedule and we'd have to be strategic if we were going to meet up. I told her I was going to Vegas for CES for a brand deal, and at the end of the month, I was going to Park City for Sundance. Obviously, she wanted to come to Park City, but that's a group trip for me. So we thought it would be best if we were able to hang out a little bit before.
Hold on, bro. Smile so I can see if you got your side teeth.
So since I was going to Vegas the following week, considering it's halfway to Texas, I would just come there to her after a few days. That made the most sense. So let's start with the... And I want to make sure that you notice a pattern of how money-centered this girl is.
What is your love language? Quality time and physical touch. You, action, a vacation, physical cash, quality trips. She letting you know that she ain't gonna be dealing with a broke. Just go off, sir.
Which she even makes it super clear from her video. So I'll come back to that. Number one, I asked her in the very beginning if I should get a hotel room, which I had no problem with.
Should I book one? No, laugh out loud. I was just kidding. No, laugh out loud. Of course not. Why do you have the other parts blocked? Why do you have a heart over it? So now we can't read what you're saying to her. You have two things that are blocked. No, laugh out loud. Stop bleep me and the dogs. I take it I will not go to Mexico. Me too. Dang, really, baby? It'll be nice to be home for a few days. That's nice, but I just want to have a one-on-one with you. A man that's trying to guard his life and his cheeks. You should not feel comfortable staying with a random woman that you do not know. The safest bet for you would have been for you to get a hotel, even if she insisted that you stay with her because you don't know her like that. Okay? I know you probably don't know this or you just ignoring it, especially as a black man. Staying with a white woman. Good sir. I mean, now you bring race into it. It doesn't matter. His race doesn't matter. Yes, it does. It's been incidents before when y'all done got caught up.
She said no, very clearly right here. Second, I was booking...
Should I book one? No, laugh out loud. I was kidding. I can. No, laugh out loud. Stop, of course. You'll stay with me. Ma'am. So you just lying then. I told you. Hopefully she didn't came back. She made another video. So hopefully she dropped some receipts too. But still, both y'all have zero survival skills because y'all don't know each other like that. Y'all was planning on having intercourse, cool. But safety first.
A last minute flight from Vegas to Texas, and the only direct was Frontier. Obviously, we both know it's airline, but my other options were $1,200 for non-directs or a $200 direct Frontier flight. On what planet would I not take that for 2 hours instead of flying 8 hours with a layover and paying more money? Very beginning, she had a lot of comments to say about it, and it's funny she mentions it because I'm a reasonable person, and I don't think any other reasonable person, I don't care how much money they have, would choose to fly 8 hours over 2 and have a...
Are you flying Frontier? Laugh out loud. Yeah, there wasn't any other direct. Southwest and I'd have to stop in Denver, or United, I have to stop in effing Atlanta, which made 0 sense. Dang, that is tough. Laugh out loud. So Marissa, you was with the stuffs. You was planning on getting your cheeks clapped. That's all this is. I was on your side in the beginning, but his receipt's starting to make sense. He ain't been talking about how much the flights cost. He's just letting you know the predicament that he's in. Unless there's something above this that he's not including where he's like, hey, these flights are dumb expensive. And I understand, like, I'll pay more to go with United than I would with Frontier. I had that option for me to go on my trip. I chose United because I don't want no type of delays or anything like that. And I'm not with Frontier nickel and diming you anyway. When it comes to your bags, I'm not with that.
Stop and pay more for it. That's just not reasonable. Now, the night before my flight at 9 p.m., she switched up and said, hey, we should get a hotel. Meaning I should get a hotel. I didn't even look at...
You have and you have dogs and stuff, something going on. Okay, you said it seems like a waste of money and I could be blank and have the dogs and stuff, something's going on. Oh no, nothing's going on. I was thinking that might be a good option. But if you want me to look, I will. Ain't no want me to look, I will. I feel like you in this particular text message, Jordan, you being obtuse. When she gave you some pushback, that should have been a signal to you that you needed to find you someplace else to stay. And if y'all link up cool,
switched up and said, hey, we should get a hotel, meaning I should get a hotel. I didn't even look at the hotels or the pricing or anything before telling her, honestly, you know what, I might just go home. I had been filming in New York for December. I had gone to Mexico City for a concert. Then I went back to New York to spend time with my family. I went home for a few days, which is in California, to see my friends for New Year's. And now I was in Vegas. I didn't want to spend another weekend in another hotel. Like, I think that was totally fair. So
no,
I told
it's not fair, bro.
her, I don't really want to do that. I can go home and we can discuss plans for something else when I have more time. It's not a problem.
The thing is, you didn't want to stay at a hotel because you didn't want to spend no more money. Like she was saying in her video, if you're somebody that's constantly traveling all the time and you was that sick of staying at hotels, you would have took your behind home. You're cheap.
Told me, no, never mind. And she still wanted me to come. So I said, okay, that's fine. Before I get to her personal oddities, let's talk about dinner. I took her and her friend to dinner. My card did this little fraud thing because I had been traveling so much, and I gave them another card immediately and paid the whole bill, no problem. I don't even know why it's worth mentioning that. We didn't even talk.
Because that don't make no dang on sense. The card only approved 165 instead of the whole 200. Now, I don't know about you. When my card been declined, like I was just at Costco, for some reason, my card felt like it wanted to be ignorant that day and didn't let the purchase go through. And I'm sitting up in a line embarrassed because I got the money up in my account. You know what I did? I went ahead and called Chase. And I was like, hey, do you know how embarrassing this is that I'm standing in line and my card don't work? If your card is like mine, it would have declined the entire purchase and sent you a fraud alert asking if that was you. It wouldn't have just went through for 165. So that makes me feel like you didn't have the money in your account.
About it. After the dinner, I also took her and all her friends out and paid for everything. So I don't understand where this like money thing is coming from. It seems like it's another sad attempt to try to use money against me. I'm not sure why. She didn't pay for a single thing when I was there, which is how I always am. She also didn't pay for anything in New York. So I don't understand what the point of this is. Now, let's talk about what happened before the video. The entire time I was there, all she did was mention money and the guys that she uses for money. The guy that's been flying her out, who she claims to never touch. I'm going to mention the guy because I clearly don't give a shit. This guy apparently lives in New Orleans. She flies there for one day, sees him, and apparently leaves the next day. She never mentioned if she sleeps with him or not. I didn't want to ask, but she
just handing it out for a fee. But if she's telling you all of this, why didn't you pack up and go get you a hotel? And I know I got some men that follow me or that watching this content. At one point, is it like, hey, she's telling me all of this, I might need to take that as a red flag and go find me something safe to do in a hotel because you feeling a little bit too comfortable talking to me like that. And then on top of that, telling me about your promiscuous ways. Now I'm looking at it as like, do you see me as a trick? Which she obviously did. But hey, it is what it is, sir. The last video on you, I said you like white girls and you like to trick on them and you'll go through a whole bunch just to clap some cheeks, which I am perfectly fine with. Date who you want. I'm actually proud of y'all for taking that L for us. Congratulations.
Mentioning that and how other guys will fly her private and this guy did this and this guy did this. And all she did was mention money and the guys that she uses for money. I want to elaborate on that because sure, you can get your bag, you can do whatever you want, but you were making it very clear to me that you were using them, and that is something that I personally have a problem with. So with that being said, that is where I started to get the ick. Not only that, but I'm sure I'm going to cause something here because I met two of her friends, and I'm going to speak to both of her friends directly. I thought you were both very kind. She hates you.
I can't stand someone who talks S about their friends the second they walk out the door. If you didn't like the way she treated the people around her, plus she seemed like she was about to use you as a trick, so you should have booked you a hotel and told her, hey, I want to give y'all some space. I got me a room. We can link up tomorrow.
More about her friends than any of the guys she dated, and I have details. One of her friends is in a toxic relationship in which she claimed she would not speak to her friend again until she got rid of the man and she got a job. And the other, who I also really liked, She's tired of paying for you, and she's also tired of hearing about your relationship. So if I were you, I would find a better friend who's a lot more supportive. Also on the subject of what was going on while I was there, before I get to the video I made, she would not stop talking about how she wants to get famous on TikTok and quit her job, and that she hates it and doesn't want to work there and wants the guy that she's with to pay for everything. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that unless you're desperate about it. The reason I say she's desperate is that she continuously asked me to help her make TikToks. And you know what? So I did. I'll put it right here. I wrote her a little script about herself.
Left my A off, definitely. I went to the bathroom. I personally have a tough time running a strict program because I really relaxed all the time. I don't really care if you're out. Leave me with my Nutella and my movie nights and my red light. I don't want to hang out all the time anyway. However, if you are going to be around me, I don't really want to make out all the time. I will punch you and probably yell at you in my sleep. Don't ever touch me with your feet because what the F, girl. Wash your fingernails and your hands before you touch me in general. Cuddling for a maximum of 20 minutes at a time because I get overstimulated, and order me food or I'll get hangry. But other than that, I'm really not that strict. Trail off, cut off abruptly. That sounds like a piece of work, and that's the script you came up with and you thought it was cute? I guess.
To make her a little funnier than she comes off. Now, on the subject of her job and knowing that we have different beliefs, I would never pretend to be something I'm not in order to advance myself. And she can
sound familiar. Put aside your morals to advance your career. But these are the people that you're constantly attracting. So that says a lot about you. It's something there that links well with whatever that person has. Then you're talking about we have different beliefs. If any of that even bothered you, you wouldn't be entertaining her, sir.
Continuously puts aside her morals or anything that she believes in to interact and be a part and recognize on the other side. So let's talk about the video. I wrote this script for her, which she asked me to do, about how she doesn't like cuddling or kissing or being touched, and we had a laugh from it. I told her a bunch of times I thought it was weird that she says she's never really made out, and we had a laugh about it and all her preferences. The other thing about it is she had been super touchy and outspoken and different things about wanting to be touchy with me and kissing, etc. I'll put that here.
Why do you keep having the sticker up? You're hiding stuff. I'm normally not a physically affectionate person, but I want to be all that with you. Of course, Fred, I land at 9. We said it. What set is that? Doubling.
But still continuously told me that she's not used to that. Now, I want to reiterate, the entire time that we were talking about it, we were laughing about it. I gave her the script that I gave her because, again, we were laughing and making jokes about it. So when I made my video, after she made her video, we were making fun of the exact same thing. I didn't think there was any problem with making a joke until I posted it and she lost her shit. She immediately said she couldn't believe I posted it, I disrespected her, and I should get a hotel room. I left right away without even a fight because I was already icked out by the way that she treated her friends anyway and all the other stuff she told me. I was ready to leave, but I just think it's funny that I knew she was going to make a TikTok because she was going to use it for clout. She was literally looking for something the entire time to advance herself, which is what she does in her career. Luckily, I think people know me on this app for having a sense of humor and always providing receipts. So it's just more proof that you shouldn't believe everything you see online. And some people are trying to use other people to harm them and to benefit themselves, even if they have to resort to lying and fabricating. Honestly, it's pathetic.
If she disgusted you that much, why didn't you use your brain and go get you a room? You overstayed your welcome. Both of y'all need to stay away from each other and y'all need to develop some survival skill.
Hi, Jordan. Sorry it took me so long to get a response back. I was at my hair appointment, which cost more than the one-way flight that you couldn't afford. Very bold of you to come with screenshots, as if I don't have our same text message threads, victims from your past, eyewitnesses, and your civil and criminal court records. I want screenshots, here they are. Let's debunk your first claim, that I was trying to use you to teach me how to do social media, to get social media clout, and had you write a...
You on point with your stuff. I appreciate that. Laugh my L. It is so weird to me posting videos online. What do you mean? Obviously, it's not like my job, laugh out loud. I just fell into a little fun hobby and only since October. Whereas before I wouldn't be even having my voice online. Ha ha ha. Fair. Yes, it's fun, but I don't ever have the time for it. Laugh out loud. Ha ha ha. Would you ever want to do it together?
Script for me. There's a screenshot of me telling you that I'm not used to doing social media, that this isn't my career, and you asking me would I ever do social media with you. which is extremely weird considering that you had a couples account in the past. If you need income and you need a girl to play an actress, you shouldn't be looking for a girlfriend. You should be holding auditions. Supporting the difference.
Hold on. You should have dropped the screenshots of his couple's account.
The difference between you and I is that you do social media for your livelihood along with conning young, vulnerable women. And I'm going to prove to everyone on the internet that this has nothing to do with clout or money. And so every penny that I make from any of these videos, I'll show you guys my content creator rewards fund. I'm going to not only donate that to a local nonprofit, I will triple it.
Dang, you got a bag like that? He did say you was out here being a lady of the night. You ain't addressed that yet. But, ma'am, he wasn't conning you. You just didn't set your boundaries in place and stick to them. He like people that have zero survival skills like himself. Because all this stuff on both of y'all parts was stupid.
The next claim, you saying that I paid for nothing over the weekend. Well, here's a screenshot of me paying for all of our
Uber, Clarkwood, ACX. What is that? Oh, that's a restaurant.
Ubers, along with one of the bar tabs that we went to because the bar didn't accept Apple Pay and the only form of payment that you had was Apple Pay. You said you would pay me back, but I would never ask you back for $94. There's the screenshots of me.
Do you want Starbucks? I ordered stuff. There is a sandwich and croissant in the kitchen for you. Oh, thanks, baby. Wow, slept forever.
Buying us breakfast because you were sleeping while I started to work. Here's the screenshot of you complaining.
D, I don't think $3K for people is that crazy. Laugh out loud. I say, as someone who never knows the price of things, for dinner in Vegas, how are we going to do that? Laugh out loud. With drinks, do what? Drink that much. Also, our table at the nightclub is $5K. It's Vegas. I would expect that kind of. So, like, that's more than half the price. Laugh out loud.
Think about the dinner tab at a Vegas restaurant that you bragged about getting. On our first date, you tried to front and brag and future promise about all these cool events and places that we could go to. You talked about taking me to Sundance. You talked about taking me to Fred in London in February. You talked about taking me to Aspen.
He like Aspen. That's one thing I can say. He always trying to go to Aspen. Oh, yay. I would love that. Feb is really crazy, so I have to really think about it. Really think about what? There's Super Bowl in LA, then Chainsmokers plus Nylon are in Aspen, and the very next weekend is Palm Tree in Aspen. I'm a Nylon member, so I typically like to go to their stuff. And the fact my friends are there the same weekend is wow. Busy man. Shh. All of this is we. Laugh out loud. Oh, is that right? Well, ma'am, if you have to use another card to pay for y'all dinner that was $225, you ain't got to worry about going to the Super Bowl with him because them tickets is dumb high. They actually having it up in the Bay. I might go down there to see the little Super Bowl park, but I heard that was dumb expensive too. I know where I'm not going to be on the Super Bowl though.
In February. So guess what? Yeah, I was talking about going to these things. I was talking about money and I was talking about these events because that's what you led with. But it was very clear from the beginning that you're just fronting and it's not actually reality. Here's a screenshot of me offering to pitch in for the Sundance Airbnb after you complained about how
Do you want me to pay for some of the house for Sundance? No, baby girl. That's super sweet you offered though. Yeah, of course. I don't want you thinking I want to go just to go. I just want to spend time with you. You're so cute.
Airbnb after you complained about how expensive it was. Here's a screenshot of me saying that I'd rather go to San Diego, that it's better.
Laugh out loud. Mute. When I see you, be prepared for me to be all over you. I won't overwhelm you, but F. Oh, sweet man, I'm excited. Also, can I go to you? If you like to spend time at a home, and San Diego is greater than Houston, laugh out loud. You're coming to me after Park City because I think we'll do Super Bowl. Oh, yay. I would love that. Boy, you talking like you got some big cash.
In Houston, and you saying, no, you'll come to San Diego for the Super Bowl. Another future promise, another lie. This is all stupid. This is about the one time we met in New York and the one weekend we spent together. But what we really need to talk about is the young girls that you've taken advantage of. The same girls that I've been on FaceTime with all day. The ones that have pressed small claims court on you, that have tried to get restraining orders against you.
Dang.
The young girls that you've manipulated into joining OF. The dogs that you've gotten neglected and abandoned. The eviction notice. The car being repossessed. The entire con that you're living. Now here's a screenshot of you and your real estate license that expired this year.
Salesperson Jordan Davis, fired 7/14/25. Former names, no current responsible brokers, license.
Fired this year. Before you came to Houston, I told you that I was going to run a background check on you, and you responded extremely weird. You told me,
Well, laugh out loud. My friend Emily is wanting me to run a background check. Ugh. I think it's smart. Laugh out loud. I never committed any crime. Well, I need to triple check. Laugh my A off. You never know. A bit invasive, but if that's what you want to do, I don't think so. God, don't it. When I say your survival skills are at a 0, if you're going to run a background check on someone, you don't need to tell them. Just run a check. And then if you feel uncomfortable, just let them know I don't feel comfortable with you coming down there. You all were moving too fast.
that you thought it was invasive. Well, now everything makes sense. Here are the screenshot of your public available records that talk about your civil and criminal, whatever the that you've gotten to before, that just proves that this is something you do. This is your life.
Ma'am, if you found all of this stuff on his background, why did you still let him come live at your house? Make it make sense. You gotta be so freaking for real. Not only are you making him look bad, but you also making yourself look like you stuck on stupid. Because ain't no freaking way that you seen all of this stuff and it wasn't a red flag. You was just with the stuff. So he has multiple cases here with somebody named Sophia, and one of them has an image attached to it. The first one is April 30th of 2024. The next is May 23rd of 2024 and June 6th of 2024. The case type is DV prevention. The petitioner is Sophia and the respondent is Jordan. So apparently he does not know how to keep his hands to himself, which is a huge problem in itself. And that's why it's important that you know who you're dealing with. Stop being all willy-nilly when it comes to your life. Safety first, which is what I was saying in the very beginning. You just letting that man come into your house. And if what you said about him getting in the bed with you and your friend while he was in his birthday suit with these charges, you lucky didn't nothing happen. Because if he over there putting his hands on somebody he was in a relationship with, that means that he does not have a high amount of respect for the people that he's dealing with. Next time, tell him to get a hotel and don't be inviting him into your house. And good sir, with all of these things that you have on your public record, you shouldn't have been staying at her house either. You should have went and got a hotel. And you need to keep your hands to yourself. And if the girl hopped on you, you should have called the police and reported it. It's ridiculous. Grown people being ignorant. Oh, my fault. He has 4 cases with Sophia. September 25th of 2023. And I don't know who Sophia is, but I'm glad that you got away from him, and I hope you stay away from him. Because anytime that you're going back-to-back months reporting this man for putting his hands on you, he wasn't gonna change. The next one is with somebody named Lauda. Dissolution. So that means that you got a divorce? Well, thank goodness for your ex-wife seeing all the rest of this stuff on your record. DV prevention without minor children. So you just a pro at laying poles, apparently. Y'all have to be careful with the people that you are allowing in your life. Him putting hands on people is annoying. Shout out to your friend that told you to do a background check and had your back because you wasn't using your brain at all. Anything could have happened to you.
Talk about your civil and criminal, whatever the that you've gotten to before, that just proves that this is something you do. This is your life. You live your life conning women. So here they are. I thought this was going to be a dating nightmare story time, but it turns out you're a predator, you're a criminal, you have a record of victims, and that now my motivation has changed to just sharing my story time about my one experience with a weird guy to bringing justice to all of your previous victims, as well as preventing you from having future victims. Jordan, you might be able to intimidate and scare girls who are 21, 22, and 23 years old, but you're a liar, you're a con artist, you've been evicted, you've had your car repossessed, you live your life on taking advantage of young women, and I thought this was going to be a video that was just about a bad dating experience, but it turns out it's so much more than that, and you're a sick. I've got a lot more that I can post, and I really don't care to. I will if I need to, but this is just what I have to show you guys. I'm not doing this for any other reason other than to speak the truth and to warn future victims. So I wish you the best, Jordan. I suggest you get a real job.
I suggest both of y'all stay away from each other. Jordan, this a public record. You need to learn how to keep your hands to yourself before you run into the right one, because it's ridiculous. I don't believe he responded to any of these videos, but that's some jacked up stuff.
You want to be a content creator, but you get nervous.
If you owe me an apology, do not attempt everyday conversation with me.
A lot of you guys
You didn't address those receipts, did you? As always, remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Stay blessed.